Hello, hockey fans, and welcome to episode 1 of the Path to the Playoffs for the Iowa Wild. I'm Ben Gislason, joined by the PR manager of the Iowa Wild, Alec Lessner, and we were sitting here thinking playoff hype. We're in the middle of it. The sprint is on. And we were also thinking decoding the enigma of a magic number. I know you and I had to sit down and crunch some numbers for a little while too, so we figured we might sit down and try to help our fans get a better idea of what are the nitty-gritty details of what the Wild can expect and what fans can expect to hopefully see happen to get the Wild into the playoffs. But looking forward to doing this here today, Alec.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Well, let's talk about the details, the important notes that we're all wondering. If we slice it up and dice it up, there's a lot of different scenarios that are out there, but the big one, or the one that we are looking at, is best possible scenario for Iowa right now. They're looking ahead at 2 games against the San Diego Gulls this weekend, 4 possible points on the table, and the magic number really is actual points versus max number of points, and Chicago is the last team chasing the Wild and the Rockford IceHogs, who we'll talk about. And right now, Chicago has 81 max points. The Wild are at 72 actual points. 2 wins this weekend puts Iowa at 76. 2 Chicago losses would put them down to 77. So that would bring Iowa's magic number down to just 1 looking ahead to next week. And by wins this weekend for Iowa, 2 regulation wins would be key, because regulation wins are a tiebreaker for any teams that were to wind up tied in points at the end of the season in the standings.
Yeah, so in the best case scenario, a sweep of the goals and Chicago dropping their 2 games would put Iowa in a position that they could clinch as soon as next week. So that's something for Wild fans to look forward to, is the Wild take on the goals.
And the Chicago Wolves are playing a tougher schedule, at least on paper right now, than the Wild. San Diego, a team in the bottom of their division. Chicago's actually going to be the matchup 2 weeks from now, and the Wolves will take on Milwaukee midweek next week. That could be the scenario where the Wild could clinch, should all go according to plan this weekend. But strength of schedule is important this time of year, and Chicago has some tough opponents, and so does Rockford, who's the team in 5th place right now, really trying to battle for potentially that 4th or 5th place spot against Iowa.
Yeah, every team in the league is tough, but Iowa gets the benefit of playing a team that's in the basement of the Pacific Division in San Diego, and also gets the benefit of rest. So while the other teams do have games in hand, Iowa gets the benefit of not having played since last Saturday and having some time off after this weekend's games, while the other teams are going to have to play 3-3s or midweek games and keep turning that schedule over.
Good news. Iowa's in a good spot. Alec, what are you most excited about this time of year? Each game so exciting, so entertaining, and so intense as we get closer towards hopefully the Iowa Wild's second ever Calder Cup playoff berth.
Yeah, I think everybody's excited to see Iowa return to the playoffs, especially having such excellent teams in the years disrupted by season stoppages and the pandemic. So I think everybody's excited for that clinching moment, hopefully at home, potentially even next Friday against Chicago, and also for a couple big promo nights in terms of beach night, and then on Sunday at 3 p.m. Pucks and Paws, and then fan appreciation coming up the following Friday against Chicago at 7 p.m.
Lots of great reasons to check out an Iowa Wild hockey game, and I think if I had my druthers, a Friday clinch at home would be really special. Not that we would be unhappy with a Wednesday clinch while we're just sitting at home watching maybe the Wolves lose. But
well, you gotta
get that opportunity at home,
You have
right?
a 5-hour bus trip after that game to Rosemont, so I'm sure the spirits would be great.
Yeah.
Headed to Illinois after potentially clinching, but Iowa's fans have a lot to look forward to, and after a long wait, well-deserved hopeful clinch here in some of the next several games.
Well, we're looking forward to hopefully some playoffs, and we'll keep this moving down the line here as we're trying to keep our fans as in the loop as we can with what the Wild are looking at. But business is wins this weekend, Saturday and Sunday with the San Diego Gulls in town. Alec, we'll look forward to doing this again, and thanks for this, pal.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing you next week.
This has been episode 1 of the Path to the Playoffs for the Iowa Wild. We'll be back next week with more. Until then, go Wild.